Howdy guys, and welcome back to another video. Way back in March I was tagged by Spanmaid to do the try a chapter book tag, and she's probably assumed that I've forgotten, but I haven't, and here it is. So the basic idea is that you choose 5 books that you've been meaning to read and you try a chapter. You have to decide either yes or no, am I going to read this or am I going to set it aside? Once I've started a book, I'm almost definitely going to finish it. I don't like to leave things unfinished. So the idea of reading a first chapter, I just thought this isn't really for me. But then the other week I was in the library and I just thought, do you know what, why not? Let's pick up a handful of books and give them a whirl. I kind of expected it to fall apart. I kind of thought I'm going to want to read all of these books, but I didn't, and here's that story. So the first book that I chose to read was The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This has been on my TBR for about as long as I can remember, about as long as I've had a TBR. The first chapter was about 3 pages long, so not much to get into. I found the language to be quite intense. I don't like to say old-fashioned, but kind of that older style, and that is more intense to read. Despite that, very much intrigued by the story, and I found myself, even within 3 pages, getting quite absorbed and wanting to know what's going to happen. Decision time? This would be a yes for me. I feel in no rush to read it, but I do want to read it. The second book, which I decided to give a whirl, was The Hound of the Baskervilles by Arthur Conan Doyle. Again, a book I've heard a lot about and I've considered reading for quite a while, but never got round to it. Chapter 1 in this book was the longest chapter 1. It was about 6 pages, and I didn't get to the end of those 6 pages. I found that my attention just kept drifting off. To be honest, Sherlock Holmes didn't seem very nice. I found it to be quite intense, and my attention kept drifting off, which is quite unusual for me when I'm reading a book. Decision? No, I'm not going to read this one. Certainly not anytime soon. The third book, which I decided to pick up and have a go at, was The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury. Read books by old Ray before and enjoyed them. So when I saw this, I thought, ooh, intrigued. The first chapter is incredibly short, 1 page long. Having said that, the page was intriguing. I found it to be very easy reading, and I was sort of slightly intrigued by the story. There was actively no reason for me not to carry on reading this book. So this decision time is a yes. I would read and will read this book. Book number 4. Shrinking Man by Richard Matheson. I Am Legend stands out in my head as one of my favourite books I've ever read. And so when I saw this, I thought, I've not heard of it, to be honest, but I thought I'll give it a go anyway. I thought that the first chapter of the Martian Chronicles was short, only to discover that this one isn't even 1 whole page long. I blooming love this. It's only sort of 3/4 of a page, but it does such a good job at just intriguing you and hooking you in. It reminds me of that, it's probably a name for it, but that bit of a film before the credits, which they just used to hook you in. It was just like that. It was like, bang, here's some action. Don't you want to know what's going on? Yes, I do. Yes, I will read this, and probably very soon. The 5th and final book, which I chose to do, was a book that I pretty much knew I was going to say yes to, because it was Scarlet by Marissa Meyer, as the second book in the Lunar Chronicles. I had read the first book quite recently and loved it, so I was pretty sure I was going to read the second book, but I thought, let's include it in this, because why not? I felt that it's very easy reading. There's nothing sort of particularly challenging or difficult or off-putting about it. The storyline and the mystery are made very clear right from the start. This was a definite yes for me, unsurprisingly, because I had already read Cinder, but it just instantly reminded me of why I liked Cinder, and actually that's not a bad thing. It made me want to read it. So it's a defo yes. So out of the 5 books that I chose, 2 of them were definite want to read them. 2 were yes, I want to read them, but I don't feel any drive to read them anytime soon, and 1 was a no. So it was actually a lot more of a successful tag than I expected, because I thought I would just end up reading them all. If I probably should tag some people, feel free to ignore my tag if you don't want to do it, but there are 1 or 2 people who I consider to be really good booktubers. I think more people should check them out, so that's my reason for tagging, I suppose. My first tag is Jackie, who I will leave a link to below. My second is Paige from the Minimalist Booktuber. Apologies to anyone that I've not tagged that wants to do it, feel free, but to be honest, most other people that I watch are bigger booktubers and I kind of assume that they've probably already done it. If you have done a try chapter book tag, then please let me know below. I'd love to check it out, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.